Good morning. Good morning. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands. Ancestry Lands. Yeah, that's right. I'm giving you the first thing when you turn this video on is a beautiful sunset and a jackass walking across the street. All right, there you go. Okay, Joey Buttafuoco. There you go. Any which way. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's start this off. I'm starting this off with a beautiful scenery here, a beautiful backdrop. Oh my goodness, boy, I get lucky. Something about the east you gotta appreciate is these sunrises, man. Sunsets in the west, but man, sunrises in the east. Look at that, man. Harmony. Now that is worth just the video alone. Look at that beautiful sunrise. Oh, look at those skies. Yeah, I love it. Any which way, folks. Today's video is the government cooking their books. What does cooking the books mean? Cooking the books. Are we headed for hyperinflation? That's the thing about it is that we are following the footsteps in our leaders. And are you following people who are successful or people who are cooking the books? When I say cooking the books is an old colloquial term. Just meant that you're fudging documentation. Your numbers are not right. The accounting is not correct. And we can see now, according to the US Treasury, that the government collects the way the government makes their money is they collect tax revenue. The money that we pay the government, that's where they're getting their money from, the majority of it. And the government is collecting, according to the US Treasury, about $4.4 trillion from tax revenue. Now, the only way to not be in debt is to make money. You make money by having products and services that you can produce and sell. And the US government produces those products and sells them either to their own consumers, their citizens or residents of the United States, and they would make products that they would sell abroad. Like US manufacturing once upon a time. You see that car in front of me, that blue Nissan Sentra, I believe it is? Well, that car might be sold here in the US, but the parts are acquired or made and manufactured in other countries and then sold here for US corporations and companies to utilize. But the manufacturing, when it's made in the other country, they get the sales both international and domestic. Domestic meaning home country. And that's the part that people are missing. You can't buy everything when you don't make anything. So the government now, and this is not this is just to help you understand why you are going to be hit and why this port strike, because I covered a port strike way before I saw it popular on, geez, lady, we know you got to get to work because you woke up late, but you're going into another red light. Man, Jesus. You got to be careful with the honking your horn and road rage. You don't know where people are nowadays. And you got right. This is the blue Versa. Here you go. Right here. This car again. You're just going to blow your horn and beep. And it's like you just got up to another red light. Any which way, what I was saying about you have to make something. You can't you can't buy everything if you don't make anything. That's going to catch up to you. The US government does not make any more products like we once used to. So we're not selling any products and goods. We have to pay for them because we have to buy them from other countries. It's interesting because this does affect you, like I said, with the port strikes. And like I said, I was covering the port strike. This is not a repeat. This is just me repeating myself because I don't lose my train of thought and videos. The port strike I covered last week. I put that in a video. It wasn't the main source topic, but it was a fair warning to do your research because I still don't see the port strike in the news. When I go to Yahoo, everything's on JD Vance and Tim Waltz about the vice presidential debate, and that's not what's important to our world. It's not, but it's being covered front and center to get you away from understanding that every day these port workers go on strike, that it's going to be a week. That translates into a week's worth of lost, what is that? That translates to a week's worth of lost deliveries and shipments. It does. It translates into a week's worth of lost delivery and shipments. So that means that's a week behind. One day is 1 week behind. And when that keeps happening time over time again, it does start to hit us that we're not able to get the same products. The companies are not able to get the same goods and services. Now, I do believe that most companies and corporations have stocked up. So it is not an immediate disaster waiting to happen, but the government is not going to do anything about it. And again, I asked, where is the president at when these issues? He said he's not going to do anything. Well, okay, that's great, but what's going to happen as fallout? So when you look at these, the books is what I'm talking about. The U.S. government is spending $4.4 trillion. Look it up on the Treasury, the U.S. Department of Treasury's website. $4.4 trillion they're collecting in revenue. That's the money they get in their accounts from their largest portion of revenue, which is tax revenue, taxing their citizens. And they're spending about 6.3. So they're $1 trillion. That's what they spend. They overspend every single time. And you wonder why we're 35 trillion. I think I covered that a couple months ago. In debt, 35 trillion, because we're already over budget by $1.9 trillion. They're spending more than they're making. And the reason why they're lowering interest rates, they won't lower them too much, but they're lowering them just to soften the blow a little bit before inflation comes roaring back. Because if they lower you got to speed up. That's what you got to do. You got to speed up. You're running out of space. What a freaking idiot. You got to put your foot on the gas, lady. Goodness gracious. Look, she's ready to give up on life. Any which way, if they lower the interest rates, if they start lowering them, then that means obviously they're going to end up owing more. It's bad for them because now they're going to owe more money on the debt that they owe. That 1.9 trillion is going to balloon up more. You raise up interest rates, the power of the dollar becomes a little bit stronger. And it means that now they actually are paying down. Well, I don't want to say paying down, but now them paying back interest, they're actually paying at a lower, they have a better purchasing power, and they're paying it back. It is stronger for the U.S. government. But what happens with the citizens is that the inflation, the cost of goods and services becomes even more expensive. And now you're going to get hyperinflation, which has happened in countries like Venezuela where, bread now, the price of bread just doubles or triples in a day. Hell, I bought a gallon of milk I got from Target, man. Just regular organic milk. It was $10.39. And it's not like the cows are changing. The cows are bringing you more nutrients. It's the same cows that make milk like cows have always been making milk. It's $11, with the tax included for a damn gallon of milk. So, it just goes to show that, hey, man, the purchasing power is going to decrease even more. So you have these issues now. Woo, weaving that out of traffic. That's what I do. So you got these issues now with your money and how your money's affected. How is your money going to be affected? Well, that means your purchasing power is going to become even lower much quicker. And when that happens, now you find yourself in financial straits. You find yourself with less purchasing power, not less money, less purchasing power for the same things that you need and the needs that are coming in the future. This is why preparation, the PEMDAS system, is the formula you need to live by in life. You need to be prepared with the information that you receive, and you receive that information on this channel like no other. Your earnings need to increase. You need to make sure that you are not only relying on a 9 to 5, because 9 to 5s are laying people's asses off. You need to have supplemental income. You need to build up skills once again. And when you don't follow those two, because your mindset, the M in my PEMDAS system, your mindset is off. You're too busy saying, well, I got a job and the paycheck's good, but the paycheck's good just for right now. That doesn't talk about your paycheck's going to be good if they decide to lay you off or companies have to downsize or close. And it doesn't even matter if you're in a field like mine, healthcare, which is thought to be protected, because look around and ask yourself, have you ever heard of a hospital closing down? If you say no, then do your research. If you say yeah, then you understand that we as nurses are not exempt from bad financial management. because hospitals and healthcare companies are being run like businesses. They're not being run like hospitals. They're not patient first. They're actually profit first. They got the wrong P they're focused on. So I want to say this again. You are now tasked with the mission to be prepared. You're doing that by watching these videos and staying in the know. But first, we got to look at, do you have the mindset? And you would if you're actually watching this channel regularly and you're subscribed to this channel. And the earnings, well, you can do that by owning land, because you're going to need assets to fight this, man. You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't have assets, you really don't have anything but fiat currency, F-I-A-T, fiat currency. Currency that the government can decide at any point they can print more money to create more cash to keep people spending, to keep the economy afloat. They did that in the pandemic. So again, your purchasing power is what you're trying to keep staving off with inflation. You do that by owning assets, and land is one thing that you can do right now to get ahead of that curve. Because when you buy land from Ancestry Lands today, your purchasing power will not change, even if it changes in the future. You'll lose money buying bread 5 years from now, but you won't lose money buying land from me. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. It's time to get prepared, folks. No longer can you ignore the wolf at the door as the house is being blown down. You're in the first house, the house made of straw. You need to get out. You need to make a plan to get out of that house before the house blows down and you're consumed by the wolf. You need to get to the next house, and we'll talk about what happens when you get there. When we see that the house made out of mud or whatever they say, wood, the next house, the second little piggy, before you're not at the third house yet. You didn't build a house worth of bricks, because you need assets to do that. You need the whole PEMDAS system to do that. If you're looking to learn and get your mindset right, my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, is on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. Also, link to my website, AncestryLands.com, is in the link description below. Stay tuned, folks, and own property, or you'll be owned as property. I started saying this a long time ago. A word from the wise is peace to your mind. A word of wisdom from a wise person is peace to your mind, if you're willing to listen. Phil Davis, Ancestry Land, stuck in traffic, and I'm out. Peace.